morning part 2.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We have some special guests today. We have WASA joining us. So I'm going to hand this over to Michelle.
Hello. So my name is Michelle Zorns, and I am the University Title IX coordinator. And I'm going to be talking about the Warriors Against Sexual Assault student organization. I just kind of created a little slideshow, really short, just to show you what we're all about. Basically, we're a new organization. I don't know, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we're a new organization. We became official in January. And really, the reason why we created the group is because Title IX sits in the compliance office. And so a lot of students don't go to the compliance office. So there was really like a disconnect between the students and the Office of Title IX and trying to get information out to the university community. So while I was on a webinar with the University of New Hampshire, they talked about creating a student organization that would promote issues about Title IX and try to prevent sex discrimination within the university community. So we went ahead and tried to create this group, and so far I think we were like around 10 to 15 members, and that's of staff, student, and faculty members. We have one staff advisor, which is me, and a faculty advisor, which is Tammy Melina Moore. So our mission is to empower and create student leaders who can educate and positively influence the campus community on issues related to sex discrimination. Right here, we just have Miss Earlene Thomas, and she, sorry, let me back up a little bit. All the events that we create are really student-led. They come up with the ideas, and the staff and the faculty advisor kind of guide them through those ideas. And we like for example, Miss Earlene Thomas, she did a presentation on stalking awareness, and we practiced that beforehand just to give her some guidance on how to present to the campus community. We also have, they also came up with the campus cupboard meals. They wanted to create some really easy, I think like 3 ingredient meals to bring awareness to the campus cupboard. And we do have students that have used the campus cupboard due to issues related to sex discrimination. Here we have Miss Jacqueline Oriana, and we created the Giving Tuesday event, and I think we raised around $110 to give to kids that were staying at the Families in Crisis. That is the shelter located in Killeen. So here she's presenting, I think we came up with 10 gift card packages we gave to, it was more for the teens, because they often get left out on toy drives. And this month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we, on Tuesday, April 2nd, we did Art of Self-Care, and I'll share that with you. And right here, you could go to our GoToMeeting link to join our events. So we just kind of created a little flyer, talked about what you could do to take care of yourself. So I know you guys were talking about resources that were you were looking for kids, possibly. I know the library has a lot of films that you can access for free. All here, I don't know if I can click on it, but if you want, I can send that out to you. Also, the Counseling Center is offering virtual counseling and some self-care ideas that we suggested. This is my favorite thing to do right here. Watch funny cat videos. And then we provided some local crisis resources I know where Central Texas is still doing a lot of educational awareness. And Families in Crisis is still open. We called them to check on them to see if they were still accepting, people who were in a situation that they needed to leave their home. So, and they are still taking people in. Here we just created a safety plan, and just, a lot of people in domestic violence situations, they are told to create a safety plan, a way to, get out fast. Just have everything in line, and then you can execute your plan. But things have changed since COVID. Things are closed. Resources aren't that accessible anymore. So they just created the RAIN. I forget what that stands for. I have to go look for that. But they created a safety plan recommendations based off of what COVID, because of COVID. And then Title IX resources, you can always contact us and we will help everyone out as best as we can. And then we just listed out some of the Families in Crisis offerings. So on Friday, April 17th, we are also having let me see if I can get this a little bigger. We're actually having advocates and allies question and answer session. So we will be having a SANE nurse, which is sexual assault nurse examiner. We'll have a patrol officer, Keisha Murray, there for you, you guys to ask questions. We will also have a social worker on there and a licensed psychologist. And that will be moderated by one of our Warriors Against Sexual Assault student members, Marcel Stevens. And then on Thursday, April 23rd, we're going to be having a sharp presentation by Officer Keisha Murray. She's just going to present on ways you can be safe during this time. And we will also be having on April 28th a presentation from TASA, which is the Texas Association of Sexual Assault, and he's going to be talking about men's experiences with sexual violence and sexual assault. And that doesn't get talked about enough, so I'm really excited about that one. And then finally, to wrap everything up, we're going to be doing Denim Day. And we're just going to be encouraging the campus community to wear as much denim as you possibly can on April 29th to recognize and support survivors of sexual violence. I don't know if I can click that link. So Denim Day is basically just an event that occurred, not sure exactly when, but it was happened in Italy, in the Italian parliament charged a man with rape. However, the man, he appealed the conviction and he said that there is no way that he could have raped her because her jeans were too tight. So they overturned the conviction, and a bunch of women came to Parliament and wore jeans to support the survivor and protest the overturning. So, and let me see what else we have here. Oh, did I just get paused? No.
No, you're all good.
Okay. Oh, here we are. Oh, I just wanted to share our Instagram page. Was it because I'm on top of the thing? I don't know. This is my first time doing this, so sorry. So here's our Instagram page. I also wanted to share our, I don't know if I can put this up. Okay, I don't know, move this window away from the shared application. Are you able to see our sexual harassment and assault response and prevention page?
We see the schedule, the calendar.
Oh, okay. Stop sharing. Oh, do I have to go in? I think I might have to do that. Is that all you guys see is the schedule? Is that all you've been seeing?
Now we see like families in crisis offerings.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Technology is hard, y'all.
Yeah. Well, basically what I was just going to show you was the flyer. And I thought I had that up and ready to go for the Warriors Against Sexual Assault. Oh, here it is. Can you see that?
No, you're not sharing your screen right now.
Oh, okay.
Worst case scenario, you can show us on your phone because if you, oh, never
Okay.
mind.
Does that work? Okay. Basically, just some information on how to become a peer educator. Some of the requirements we've listed here. We don't require a lot of you. We just ask for some help with at least one event per semester. Attend at least one meeting per semester. Again, we just ask that you help us raise awareness and provide information on resources that the campus offers. And we also, you know, this is an unpaid position, but we have written letters of recommendations for students. You know, when they become active members, I commit to writing a letter of recommendation to help them go on and get a position in the field that they wish, but it helps them build skills in public speaking. And you don't have to present, you know, at any event, really. It's really up to you on what you're comfortable with doing. We just want to come up with ideas that students want, and the best people to know what you guys want, you know, is coming from the students. So you know, they come up with all the ideas on their own and they deliver all the events and to the best way possible that fits our students' schedules. And I am, you know, a mom, so I go home every day at 5, and like I'm not, now I'm a student, but you know, I didn't know what the undergrads wanted or needed. So I'm really excited to work with this group of students. We also offer training to our peer educators. So you'll learn, you know, how to identify warning signs in abusive relationships, address causes of gender-based violence, assist survivors in accessing resources. You'll learn how to promote healthy relationships. I know one student, before this whole COVID thing happened, the students had, like, they had great ideas. They had do's and don'ts and donuts they wanted to do in dating relationships. And then bagels and boundaries they came up with. So we'll have to do that when we get back. But they have been really great in coming up with some ideas for the campus community. And that is pretty much the wrap on what our organization is all about. Does anyone have any questions?
I was gonna ask,
about the events y'all are holding, but you definitely went over that. But for this flyer, is it posted on like y'all's Facebook and Instagram?
It is posted on our Facebook. I think it's our cover page.
Okay. Awesome.
And your Facebook is Peer Educators, right?
Yeah, I think she changed the name. We're very new, so we're you know, trying to work out all this Facebook page. I know Ambassador Williams. I watched your video the other night. That was funny. He's been managing our Facebook page, so he's been great. He's part of our organization.
I didn't know that. Look at you, Ambassador Williams.
Yeah.
Undercover.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned kind of like in the beginning of your presentation that a lot of students don't go to like that specific, I don't remember what office that you said, but why do you think, yeah, why don't you think students like go there more? Do you think it's because they don't know about it, or like because like they're shy, or?
Yeah, well, we were first stationed in the finance and admin portion of the university, and so we were really disconnected from the students. The only people that came into our building or office or suite were staff, so we did not have a relationship with those students. And so we would go out, put an awareness table up, and try to promote, come to our office if you have, if you want to report sex discrimination. But it's, we're very, students like the chill vibe, and our office is not like that at all. It wasn't comfy, it wasn't very inviting. So we have moved into a new suite in Founders Hall 317. We're trying to make that more inviting. We have a nice little office training area where we hold our meetings, and we're trying to find more furniture to make it more like chilly vibe where students I always want to welcome them in, and y'all can hang out in our suite. I know some of our organization members have had their field meetings in our suite. Like, we're very open to inviting students. We're going to have a open house too when we get back. Invite everyone up to check out the new suite.
Cool. I think it's a really good idea.
Right here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see my Instagram page?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's our little meeting room. And there's a TV like up here in the corner. We're trying to get rid of this little barrier thing. So if you know anyone that needs one, let me know. Oh, look at this. So we throw events. We just try to make it fun for the students, but also educational.
Guys, actually, for some reason, I won second place, even though I wasn't dressed up as anything. They gave me an essential oil diffuser and like a really high quality flashlight, a sewing kit, also like 2 sets of like mani-pedi stuff. I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting anything to happen. But they spoiled me.
I love the cupcakes y'all did. Those were such good cupcakes.
Oh yeah, we got this for free. We're also really great at getting free stuff now. So like the students have gone out and asked for free things, and I think it's a great learning experience for all that are involved.
Carla and I, a while back, we actually tried, I think it was a beef vegetable stew or something that y'all made in like a crock pot. Yeah, that was, I think honestly, I've seen y'all doing more things around campus than a lot of like other groups. this is my second semester at TNUCT, so it kind of helps that like I'm with the Bluecoats now. I know a lot more, but last semester I really didn't know a lot, but this semester it's a lot. I like how before all this happened, I would see you guys almost every week doing something new. So that way,
Great to hear.
yeah.
And you guys participated in a couple of coffee, in-campus coffee with the Blue Coats. Always had the good stuff and like great information, and just you guys are a fun group, so we appreciate you very much.
Thanks for including us, because y'all are really fun. I was like, they're having a blast over here. I was like, we need that energy in our group. But yeah, we've got some great students, and they really want to just bring awareness to everything that the campus has to offer for our students. And it's just great to work with those that care.
Yeah. And this is important information you guys are passing on, and it can be such an uncomfortable subject but you make it relatable and comfortable, and people are more willing to speak up when they feel that they're among friends. So.
Yeah, we try, and we just want to make the campus community to be a comfortable, safe place. And then if it's not, you have a place to go and report that to our office, and then we can help you out. We'll do the best we can to. I know Paul York, he's our deputy Title IX coordinator. He's fabulous. He works so great with the students and getting them the services they need, working with their faculty members if they're just having a really hard time because of the discrimination they've experienced. So he's been so great. He's excellent.
Awesome.
Garrett's been awesome too, helping us get to the campus covered. So I think we have a really great team.
And Michelle, I think you had asked last week about the cupboard in reference for someone else. At that point, we were not able to supply anything, but as of the end of last week, we can. So let me know if.
Oh, you can? Oh, yay! That's so great. That's awesome.
Subject to change, but I roll with the punches.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. I think that's something that even our marketing director would love to hear about,
It's limited, but if somebody reaches out, we for the time being, we can help with that.
Yeah, I know we wanted to do a drive, some sort of drive to, get y'all some more stuff in there. I know one of our students had a really cool idea of filling up like your trunk with canned goods, like make it a competition.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of good ideas.
Sanitize the cans.
Huh?
So as long as we sanitize all the cans.
Oh yeah, no, this is like, sure. I've been sanitizing all my groceries, and it's exhausting.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used so many Lysol wipes in my entire life.
I can't even find any Lysol wipes. I'm out. I've been using like soap and water and paper towels, and that doesn't work out well because you're like drenching the box.
I actually found Lysol at the dollar store, y'all.
Oh.
So if you go on Sunday morning, that's when they get their shipments. It's only one per person, but it's something.
Better than nothing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I need
It's
that.
Dollar General. So, but it was gone. Like she was putting it out, and everybody's just like crowding her. She was like, "Get away, get away!" It was weird. It was a very weird experience.
Growing up,
Friday every day at the grocery store.
One other thing I did want to share with y'all. I don't know if I can.
Hey, that's us.
Yes.
Someone just messaged the Facebook asking for the link, and I'm trying to get it to them right now.
Okay, awesome.
That was me. I didn't realize it was the same link every week.
Oh, okay.
Trying to find. Oh, here's some of our WASA members are joining right now. They had class, so. We just recently shared maybe it's not on our Facebook page. I was looking for the movies. Did y'all get the movies that we shared? The Sexual Assault Awareness Month film features?
I don't think so.
No?
I saw a message about it. I hadn't actually gone through to
I wonder
look.
if it went out to the students.
When was it sent out? I can check my student email real quick and see.
Oh,
It was last week, wasn't it?
yeah. I'm not seeing it.
You know what? While she's pulling that up, how's the online meeting capabilities been for WASA? Because I know certain groups have had easier times than others being able to kind of get together like this. I'm trying to make sure everybody's accommodated.
Oh, well, so far we've only had what, 2 meetings, Jackie, or 1?
We've only had one, but sorry, this is so much more different than everything else. We just recently got access to the go-to meetings. So we've only had the one meeting. We do have an event coming, obviously an event coming up on Friday, and a couple more the rest of the month. So I think our biggest concern, as usual, is participation, because at our meeting we had like 3 people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would assume everyone being home, it'd be easier to attend, but I mean, I don't know other people's lives. So I don't know what's the hang up or the hold up as to why they weren't able to participate, but that's why we're doing this. We're really hoping to push out the events, because even though we're not on campus, we're still going to have 3 off-campus guests that are taking time out of their day to be there to answer our questions. And if we don't have participation, we don't have people that are going to ask questions. So kind of defeats the purpose of a Q&A. So we're hoping
It's
to
really great information too, to know
Yeah.
like what the process is. If one of your classmates, encounters a sexual assault, like where that person can go to get help.
So I'm actually a member of WASA too, but I haven't been able to do anything. But the thing is with the meeting, for when I received an email yesterday.
I don't know. Yes, I'm so sorry for that. I don't know. Everybody's been responding to that about like the 25th. So I logged into my email app on my computer and a bunch of emails went out that were months old. So sorry.
It's okay.
Why is everybody responding to this March thing just now? And then I got another response. So a different email and I was like, oops.
Oh, no.
So, yeah,
Technology's
sorry.
fun.
Yeah, I was like, oops, my bad. Now I'm like in awkward situations.
But I would say overall technology has been great. Like we just need more people to jump on.
Yeah.
So for Wednesdays, I don't know about anybody else, but I actually have a class from 2:30 to 3:30. So that's why if the meeting times haven't changed, that's why I'm not there or haven't been able to attend them. I don't know if there's any like accommodations to that for students who might have class during that time, to maybe like get a rundown of what y'all talked about or like was discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. We usually send out minutes. I just, with all that's been going on, have not had the opportunity because we did our meeting early last month. So we're going to have one more in May. But right now we're just really focusing on the events. So hopefully we can get y'all to at least show up to those. This next one is on Friday.
Okay.
And we made sure to ask for people for our panel to be stakeholders in the community that also pertain to the colleges on campus. So we have a psychologist, and we have a SANE nurse, and we have a social worker, and we have the UPD is going to be participating, and we have an advocate from Aware Central Texas. So we try to, spread it out to have you know, obviously if you're a psychology major or criminal justice major or, you know, a nursing major, you know, this is something that pertains to your field as well, not just social work. It's, you know, we try to pull everybody's interest in. And even though it might not be your, like I want to say this is the same nurse that I saw speak last year, and she was amazing. And I've never had a desire to be a nurse, but the topics that she touched on and the knowledge that she had and the information she provided was very useful, and it was very interesting. So it's like, I was excited that she's going to be there. I'm hoping it's the same person. So I think it's like, she's the one I really want to see. You know, everybody else, they're just there, but she's like, really, she's full of knowledge. And she's she's a nurse, and at this time, you know, and what's going on with our country and the world, she could be doing a lot, you know, not better things, but there could be other things that she could be doing other than taking the time to speak to us. And the fact that she's still going to take the time to speak to us is, you know, that's really awesome. So I think having as many participants as we can so that she can, you know, justify her being there is great.
And I want to mention too, we talked about the movies, and I did get the email for that, so other students should have gotten those emails too.
Great. Okay. We'll be sending that out, I think every week, with some new movies for y'all to watch. And they should all be accessible through the links that I provide. So you just log in with your student ID and password, and you should be able to access them.
Cool.
But y'all offer movies, right, too? Or is that student rec?
It's Campus Rec.
Campus Rec, yeah. They offer movies too.
Yeah, we don't do movies. I don't even know how we would go about doing movies. But Campus Rec, they usually have a lot of good things going on with that, though. Last semester I attended sociology club, did something. I don't know if it was for like a month, but they also had like a domestic like violence like film movie night, and I attended that, and it was really cool. So I've never even heard of some of the movies that you guys like presented like on the flyer that you sent out in the email. So I think that's a really cool way to get movies that kind of interest everybody with, like, you know, it's not like the same like concept. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I watched all of them, and they're all very sad and empowering too. So and informative. So I highly recommend you watching them, and then, you know, just, you know, empowers you to want to change, you know, the culture.
I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of talked about this before, but I mean, this first question is going to establish the basis for my my following questions. So, men can be victims of sexual assault, right? You said that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why isn't male sexual assault taken as seriously as female sexual assault, and why do you believe it's seen as humorous in some instances?
Humorous.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's humorous at all. I think that it goes unreported. I think that male sexual assault survivors are not believed. I know Jacqueline was going to do a film screening on the male sexual assault, and what do you want to speak on that?
Yes, we actually have a speaker from TASA. I actually spoke with him earlier today. He's going to be presenting for us, and he'll be able to answer your questions way better than we can because he's the one that specializes in male sexual assault. But yeah, the movie screening that we were going to do, we're not able to do now because of copyright, I guess. He said he's not able to show it online. It has to kind of be an in-person type thing. So we're definitely going to try to do that in the fall semester, bring him back in the fall if he agrees to do that in October. to show that movie because watching the previews, it answers a lot of questions. But to answer your question as far as like why people find it funny, because I don't think Michelle really grasped what you meant. Like a lot of people make fun of it, or they feel that they're less manly because they have that sense of, well, if you're a man, how could a woman take advantage of you? So they find that it makes them less manly in someone else's opinion. That's why it goes unreported, because people can't grasp how a grown man can be taken advantage by a woman.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be by a woman either. It could be by another man. So.
Or how can you get, how can someone assault you because you have to be attracted to that person, or you have to be ready to, have sex to get an erection, and that's not always the case. Your body can betray you during a sexual assault. So.
And I know, like, big burly men speak in, I think, the movie, and how can someone so big like you be taken advantage of? And there's a lot of situations that could happen. Drinking could reduce his he could be passed out, he could be blacked out. There's no reason why a man can't be assaulted. So I think that's why a lot of people don't believe that something like that could happen.
Yeah, it's not as common as female, but it's also way underreported. A lot of men don't report it because of the stigma that surrounds it.
And we don't have a lot of material to go off of. So we are trying to bring awareness to that. And I think it will eventually come out. And then a lot of survivors don't want to let people know that happened to them. So it's a cut at their masculinity. So they don't want to share their stories, which is understandable,
Do y'all work with military sexual assault survivors?
I personally have not yet, but we have been to sexual assault trainings on base, but I have personally not have serviced anyone like that in that situation.
At our event on Friday, we will have our social worker is Dr. Yarvis. He is a military social worker, and our psychologist actually works on Fort Hood as well, and they deal with the psychologist deals with PTSD research that's done on Fort Hood. So they work in depth with the military. So they would be able to, if you have questions about how either social workers or psychologists deal with the military, or military psychologists or social workers deal with sexual assault, they would definitely be the ones that you could pose those questions to.
Nice.
Thank you for answering. I had a few more actually. So do you believe that there is any inequality between male and females when it comes to sexual assault? And specifically, when I ask that, I'm talking more about like student-teacher relations. When you see a male teacher, engaging in sexual activity with a female teacher, a student, it's bad. Of course it is. The male took advantage of her in her age, but when it's vice versa and there's a female teacher and there's a male student, he's a lucky guy, and he shouldn't have told anyone. So how do you respond to that, and do you believe there's a inequality when it comes to that?
Oh, definitely. I think that that's part of the culture, and that's why we have this organization, is to change that type of belief. You hooked up with a teacher, that's awesome, dude. I think it definitely is. There's an inequality in how we view the situation. Let me just say that there should be no teacher-student relationships at A&M Central Texas. It is prohibited with undergrad students. Graduate students, there is a little bit of a leeway as long as the teacher is not supervising over that graduate student. So there is a policy on that. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. And if you know of any relationships that are prohibited, it's highly recommended that you report them. But definitely there is a culture of, you know, hookup, a different culture on how males hook up with their, you know, hot teacher, and versus, you know, a male taking a teacher who took advantage of a young girl. So it does get looked at differently, but I don't see that the situation becomes presented to me the same. Both teachers who were in a power relationship with that student took advantage of that student. So that's the culture we're trying to change, is that I don't care about your gender. I care about what position you're in. If you're in a power position and you're taking advantage of a student, that is not okay. And that is the culture we need to, you know, bring to our community and promote that, and just try to let students know that that's not acceptable in our community.
And that's super important to talk about, because a lot of the time, like, age differences and things like that can bring about like a whole like situation between people. And then like the older person will always be like, oh, you're so mature for your age, stuff like that. And I think it should be more common that we should talk about this and make sure that these like young people don't think that it's normalized for people in authority over them to be talking to them like that or doing anything with them like that. It's especially like even with the law, like statutory, like I think it should definitely be more enforced that these kids should be able to come up and talk to someone about it.
Mhm.
It's just really difficult, especially for kids in certain situations where they don't want their parents to find out or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just very complicated. But I think we should definitely be, this whole thing is very good because you guys are very like open to everyone and making sure that everyone feels comfortable talking about these things.
Yeah. And that power imbalance relationship happens all the time. So just, you know, bringing it to light can help students and kids realize, oh, this is not, he may be taking or she may be taking advantage of me. So, you know, just educating everyone, because I educate you, you're going to go and educate your friends and your kids, and then it's, you know, hopefully, you know, we're going to bring a culture that provides safety for everyone. And then if they're not safe, they know where to go to report it.
I have a quick question. Do you guys do anything like in the community to educate like teenagers or stuff, like kids who might not know about necessarily like what sexual assault like really means? There's a lot more to it than just the stereotypical.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done that yet. We are fairly new. Everything that we're doing so far has been for the campus community and our students. I know Jacqueline, she's been pushing our student groups to do things that we haven't done in our office yet. So it's been great. So I don't see us not doing that in the future. I don't know what that would look like, but I personally go and everything that I've done here, I share with my two boys. I made them color the yes means yes color sheet. Like I promote consent in the household. And that goes for them to get consent, and then also they need to give consent too. So that's right now, it's just kind of staying within my family and friend group, but I do hope that the student organization can reach out to other organizations and educate them.
That is a great idea, and that is something that I know me and Keyshawn had talked about, like getting involved more in the community outside of the university, but it all leads back to like participation. Like the more people that we can get involved, the more we can, you know, expand out. But like Michelle said, like we're relatively new, so we're still trying to, you know, get our footing. And now this, you know, COVID-19 has thrown a wrench in all of our plans. But that is definitely something that we would love to explore, especially going out, like you said, to the, because it starts young, like Michelle said, consent, like that's the basis, like that's where it all starts. Like you have to get consent, and you have to teach children young to get consent and to give consent. And that's one thing that I personally have been teaching my child, who's young, like Michelle, like Michelle's youngest. Even when he was little, you know, you have to, you know, because it's not just about sex. Like you have to get consent for anything. Like you can't just randomly touch people for no reason. You have to ask. So I think that that's like being able to get enough members that are active to be able to plan those events, to expand out beyond our campus and be more involved in the community. That's an ultimate goal. So I like that idea. You should bring that to the next meeting.
Yeah,
for sure. Because growing up, you know, a lot of my friends who experienced sexual assault, like they didn't know they were experiencing sexual assault, and their biggest thing is they didn't want to bring it, that Hannah mentioned, to their parents. They felt like it was embarrassing, like it was like shameful. And I also grew up in a really like Christian town, so anything like relatively relating to like that was taboo.
Yeah.
So I think letting them know, even like the resources outside of you know, just talking to their friends, even if they don't want to tell their parents, just having somebody to talk to, like a professional, to help them talk through what is happening or did happen, is really important. So I like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I had another question for you. This one is more about domestic violence and consistency. So I like to watch the social experiments because I mean I kind of like to kind of look at people and you know see what they do and why they act the way they act. So I was watching one in particular, and it was about domestic violence in public places. And you know, first they had the guy, you know, like you know, perform domestic violence on the woman. You know, everybody steps up. Everybody steps up to help. Of course, you know, you see someone being battered, you go and help. But on the other hand of that, when the roles were reversed, no one did anything. Some people even joined in, you know, some people recorded, some people, you know, laughed. It was a joke. So do you believe that there's an inconsistency when it comes to domestic violence with males?
Yeah, definitely. Again, another underreported issue. And again, another, how could she hurt you, dude? You know, you're a dude. How are you gonna let her do that to you? So I definitely think there's inconsistency, but it definitely absolutely happens. A lot more than we have the numbers, you know, that we're aware of. I know that is coming to light. There's a lot of different group members that we don't think about. We only think about male on female violence, but we don't think about same-sex violence. That happens, that's very prevalent in that community too. It is very prevalent in same-sex couples. It's unknown in female to male. the true numbers. So it's coming out slowly but surely. It will be shown to light on what those numbers actually look like, and that it can happen to men too, and it does. It's unfortunate that they feel like they can't, they won't be believed or they'll be laughed at. And so, again, another thing that our group is trying to bring awareness to. And I know transgenders, they experience a lot of domestic violence. I think Jacqueline just did a poster on that recently about the domestic violence that they experience.
Thank you.
You guys talked a little before about like the bagels and boundaries thing. I know it's like in the future, but what were y'all hoping to address during that as far as boundary wise? Because I know like for me, my biggest pet peeve is when I'm like at a supermarket or shopping and a guy goes to get past me, like they'll grab my hips to get past me, and that's a really big boundary for me that I'm like, please don't touch me, and they get offended. They're like, well, I'm not doing anything, I'm just trying to get past you. I don't know if they don't realize that this is a boundary you should not cross, if that's something that they were taught, or but I was just wondering, like, are you going to do boundaries in general, or like boundaries within like relationships?
I think it was going to be boundaries in relationships, Jacqueline? But that's a great point. And even educating the community on what's okay and what's not okay. Like Jacqueline said, consent comes in different forms. Like, you don't walk up to someone and just touch their belly if they're pregnant. You have to ask, can I touch your belly? So just educating the community on that, letting them know. I think that's a great idea. But I didn't come up with the idea. I believe it was one of our students that came up with the idea. And I think, I'll let Jacqueline speak on that. She might know more.
Yes, it was Danielle. She's not able to be here. She had at one of her groups, what is it called? She's in field right now, and she's able to actually still do her field. So she had a organizational group that she wasn't able to get out of to be here, but so she would be able to explain that more. But I'm under, support group, that's what it's called. So I'm under the impression that it was for relationships, but like you said, like anybody, like when you're out in the store and people touch you, that, that's something that obviously is unwanted physical contact. So I think that because obviously we haven't had the event and it's still in the process of planning out, because I don't know what she has planned for it, that can be added to it to make it not just a relationship boundaries as far as, what's acceptable in a relationship, but out in the community as well. And within friendship groups or people that like it's not always strangers that cross the line. It could be people that that just cross the line unintentionally, and you're too nice and you don't want to be like, hey, I don't like when you do this. So sometimes we put up with stuff from people because just for the simple fact we don't want to hurt people's feelings.
For sure. All right. I'm really glad that we're able to like sit down and talk about this, because I feel like I said before, like this can be a taboo like subject or like an uncomfortable subject for a lot of people to talk about and discuss, like whether you're any gender, like any sexual orientation, no matter like what you identify as, like this is something that's also like really common. It's sad that it is, but I think once people realize that, you're not alone and you're not going to be treated differently, for experiencing these things, because that's also huge. Like a lot of people feel like they're going to be alienated if they experience any sort of situation like this. But in reality, like majority of, I don't know the exact statistic, but I think it's like what 3 out of 4 women experience some sort of like sexual assault. Like it's relatively high. So being able to, for any student to know, like, you're not alone, you have resources, you have a place to go. I'm really happy that our campus like provides that and a platform for other students to gather in order to spread that awareness.
Well, what's crazy is we try to look and see what other college campuses in the area might have a program similar to ours, you know, for recruitment and stuff like that, to see about like when people come from like Temple College or CTC, that what organizations there we might be able to partner with to try and have reoccurring members, but there are none. Like no other organizations seem to have the same type of no other campuses seem to have a similar organization as ours, which shows that there is a need. And, you know, like you said, the statistics are really high. I think it's more like 1 in 7. I don't think it's 1 in 1 in 4.
I think it's 1 in 3 or 1 in 5, and then males are 1 in 7.
Yeah, 1 in 6 have been victims or attempted of completed rape. So it's 1 in 6 as of, I don't know what year this was put out. That's by RAIN. But either way, it's really high. And like you said, like but the problem is so many people don't even realize that they have been assaulted because there's so many different forms. It's the lack of education, the stigma that's placed around it, because you were saying that people are fearful of being judged or being stigmatized or ostracized because they've been assaulted. And there is that fear because that is a real experience that a lot of people even today still experience. Like if you watch the video that Michelle has on the screen, the Roll Red Roll, I watched that and it was so frustrating to watch because you see not only, I mean, this happened to a child. Like she was a student, the survivor of this, and she was taken advantage of, and of course it became her fault, the victim blaming. And it was adults that were saying, oh, well, I've seen her Instagram or I've seen her, you know, photos that she posts online, and I've seen this and around town, and it, you know, just trying to justify it. So you see it in the video and you're like, people do that in real life. And there's other people that will say, well, she shouldn't have worn that. And, you know, that those things that people just say that you're just like, no, like it doesn't matter like what anyone wears or what they say or what they do. Like no one is entitled to take advantage of someone else because of what they perceive as an invitation. So I think that it is a culture that we accept it and we place the blame on the survivor a lot of the times, unless they're the perfect victim. Like the perfect victim is like they've never met this person before, they weren't drinking, they were dressed in a way that we perceive as appropriate, they did everything right, and they were still victimized. So that is why it's so hard for us to grasp that it's so big, because everybody tries to justify it. Oh, well, you know, she wanted it, she shouldn't have been out drinking, this is her fault or his fault, for the male victims, because there are male victims. So it's just like, it's hard to see when you've been educated on everything, as far as like we have, you know, at the university, we understand, you know, this is not okay, but some people still have that misconception that, you know, that it's their fault in some way, shape, or form. So that's why we formed this organization, to try to, you know, reduce that stigma and have a safe place for these people to be able to go to, for not only for survivors, but for advocates and allies as well.
And one other thing to touch on Ambassador Williams' comment, it's about bystander training. We're also going to be providing bystander training. I know Miss Erlene was putting together bystander and bingo, I believe, but just teaching the campus community on how to interact when you see something going down, any situation, what you can do, what your options are. You know, you can distract them. You can, or if you know, you can confront the situation head on. So just providing the students different ways on how to deal with that social situation that they're in.
All right. It is 11 o'clock. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that they want to share before we talk about what the Blue Coats are doing for the rest of the week.
Me and Jessica are here from Science Club.
All right. Do you want to talk about that, Hannah?
Cool, yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we don't really have like any like huge events going on because we were gonna do Earth Day at Fort Hood, but obviously that got canceled. But we still are having one more online meeting. It's really just like a voice call over Discord, but it's just so that we can all say hi to each other and joke around a little bit before the semester is over. But yeah, I guess I would take this moment to say like what we do in Science Club in case anyone is interested in joining in the following semester. So this coming fall, we're going to be doing the rescheduled Earth Day with Fort Hood, which is where they have like 100 or hundreds of 3rd to 5th graders come to Fort Hood, and we Science Club and other presenters will present like presentations about like topics such as pollution, conservation, animals, you know, you name it, anything science related. And I think it's super cool. That's one of the few community service things we do. We're also planning on working on a butterfly garden with Dr. E, who's the coordinator of the biology program. And we also try to have like connections like within the field if anyone's interested for like biology talks and things like that. But yeah, I just wanted to plug my club because today is the day that we would have had our coffee with the Blue Coats day if we were still on campus. But yeah. Hey Jessica, do you want to say anything?
Sorry, I got kicked out.
No, it's okay.
So I missed like half of what you said.
No worries. I mean, I was just telling them about like what we're doing in the fall and like the one meeting that we're having for the semester, the rest of the semester, and yeah.
Other than after that, we have elections coming up in this fall, but that you have to be part of the biology program to run for a position for officer. But
So if anyone in the biology program is interested, and also I'm gonna plug our Instagram. It's just TAMUCT Science Club, the Instagram as well as the Facebook. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to put it out there. I'm the president right now, and Jessica's the vice president. But
Amanda's our secretary.
This is true. Amanda is our secretary. She's a very good secretary. But next semester we'll be having elections. Yeah. Okay, that's all.
Any Blue Coats want to add anything?
I just want to say that the Blue Coats are now on Engage if anybody has questions or anything like that. I'm loading up all the events we're going to be hosting. And the big one that I want to promote right now is because finals are coming up and a lot of us have children. So our Blue Coats are going to have story time, which means that they're going to read children's books, and we're going to record them and put them on Facebook, YouTube, and all that. So if you have to study and you need your kiddos to be engaged for a little bit, that would be a fun way to get them engaged. So we're doing it or if you just want to watch, a little storybook, reading with our blue coats, I think that's going to be a little fun thing. And if any of you would be interested in doing that with us, if, CPD or if WASA or Science Club or any other organization would like to participate, just shoot me an email and say, hey, Carla, I want to record it, and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel. Any content that you guys want to share on our YouTube channel, please let me know too. Because this is for our campus community. So I definitely want to have as much information out there. I know that CPD has a YouTube, and so this is how we're creating awareness and creating content for our students, which is great because they can go back and look at it on their own time, because not everybody is able to be available the hours that we do these things. So yeah, I invite everybody to reach out to me and let me know, and we can get that set up. So.
Carla, talking about the Career and Professional Development YouTube channel, we will be hosting Express Employment Professionals today at 3 p.m. For an employer spotlight. They'll be talking about industries that are hiring right now, what students can be doing to get prepared for the job industry market to bounce back after social distancing is lifted, and some strategies for working from home and virtual interviews and things like that we're starting to see a little bit more of. And so that is open to everyone. It's out there on our Facebook and our Instagram and Canvas page and everything. So if you want a link, go check that out. That's at 3 p.m. today. We will be recording that and putting it onto our YouTube channel as well.
Okay, thank you. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for having us. We appreciate you guys always being so willing and just like to partner up with us, and we love it. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun to meet with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us, and y'all share these events with your friends and stuff. That way we can have as many people there and spread as much knowledge and change culture.
Exactly. We are all these things we're doing right now, guys. It's never been done before, so we're pioneers. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for everything. Take care, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. And next week we're gonna have
guys.
Who do we have next week, Ambassador Williams? Is it who is it?
I believe it's going to be the human resources.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty. So we will see y'all later. Have a good one.